Good morning. Welcome to Buck Don't Know Shit. It is another beautiful day in the garage, beautiful day in Texas. And today's video, I am covering a very specific item, so probably not gonna interest most of you, but if you are looking for this, then this is the video. What we're working on is the switch for the AC compressor in the 1965 Thunderbird. It's a switch that is controlled by a vacuum cylinder under the dash on the side of the AC plenum. So if you are having trouble with your compressor on your car, classic car, especially Thunderbirds, I'm not sure how many other cars have these switches, but it is a critical component if you're trying to get your AC to work from your controls the correct way. So anyway, I'm gonna go through the troubleshooting, verifying that it works, verifying that everything's good, and getting it to where when I apply power and apply vacuum that the compressor does kick on. So anyway, that's it. If this video interests you, then keep watching. Maybe you'll learn something. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, so here is my compressor switch right here. These two brown wires, I think they're brown anyway. I think they're both brown. Yeah, I don't see any stripes on them, and these are the original wires. But they plug in right there and there. I'm gonna go ahead and plug them back in for now. And this vacuum canister right here is what controls that switch. And I have it marked yellow. See a little yellow zip tie there. And then that comes out. There's my yellow vacuum line. And on the pinwheel, it goes into the yellow triangle. I did check that before, and I will get my Mighty Vac out again, and we will work that canister, and I'll show you that. And then I'm just going to do a simple, do I get continuity through it with it off, which I shouldn't, right? And then I'm going to close it, close the switch, and then I should get continuity. And if I don't get continuity either way, then I'm going to assume that it is bad. But that's it. I'm going to get my Mighty Vac out. We're going to close that thing. I'm going to get my little ohm meter, put it on continuity. Yeah, there we go. Yep, haven't done any electrical work in a while, but I do have some to do. Because after this, after I get the car kind of put back together mostly, I do need to work on those headlights. So I got zero vacuum on there, pump it up. I think you might be able to see that canister pulling the switch down. And the good news, well, I say it's good news, it is good news. When I touch the two electrical connectors on the switch, I get continuity. Whenever I take the vacuum off, no continuity. So that means the switch works, which is really good news. The only thing I'll need to verify whenever I put this back in, which I'm pretty sure I did check it before, was that my actual I don't want to say rotisserie, the pinwheel of death, as I call it, that when I actually turn that valve on, that valve opens and closes. That is a possibility that does not work. I need to figure out where the power is coming from that feeds that, because that could be my issue. So if it's not that switch, then it's power, right? And I need to figure out where the power is coming from, so I can check that I'm getting power to it. And then if I am getting power to it, then I got to check that the power coming from it is all good all the way back to the compressor. And that is something I haven't even checked, which I'll do this too, is the switch itself on the compressor working. It's all one power source coming from here, but two switches basically. The fan control switch, which is that plug, and then the actual compressor switch, which is that guy. So I've got continuity from there to there, there to there, and I'm pretty sure I checked continuity and actually ran a wire, but I'll double check it, that yeah, this other wire runs down here, and then I have a connector somewhere up in there that goes through the firewall by itself. It's actually a single wire that runs through the firewall by itself. And we will also power this compressor switch. But yeah, there's the wire going to it, and it's just grounded, so it's a single wire. And yeah, it runs back in here, up along there, down in the firewall down there, below the main plug. And yeah, so I'll check continuity on that and try to fire this switch, see if I can get it to click on and off. And then, yeah, so before I button this up, I got to probably use a keyed power source to that wire, which, all right, this does kind of, so there's my little 2-prong Dumifaci that goes to, yeah, the 2 plugs that basically plugs into the AC controls right there. And you see it comes from the brown, what I'm saying, the power source comes from this same plug that is powering the AC blower motor. So it just, like, it's 2-prong on this side, and it splits off, shows to split off from the back of a 2-prong plug there, and just have 3 wires instead of 2, which, and that is coming directly from the fuse box here, right? So should be easy to trace. You know, this is a keyed power source. This is my blower motor wire right here, and it works because I was, you know, the blower does come on. So we do have power to here. I believe that side is the main power. I think this plugged up into the switch. Oh man, so many wires. That does tell me my theory is right, that there is supposed to be going power from up here to here. That is correct. So, and it does say AC control there. So that is what it's doing. There's not an orange one, unless that is, maybe that's orange right there. Yeah, there are 4 wires coming out of this, the way that one is. And that's my thermostat switch that my vacuum cylinder controls right there. So anyway, I'll figure it out. Anyway, let me do some continuity testing and maybe I'll figure something out. So I think what I'm gonna do is get my switch out. So basically I don't have my key, is what I'm saying. My key powered source. Might make this difficult to duplicate. Yeah, I think I can plug this thing up right here and use my power supply there, up there somewhere. Figure out a way to hook that up, you know, supply power to it, and yeah, I'll just try to hook it all up and see if I can't get power through this switch, which I think, yeah, that's off. That's the off position. Well, no, that's the off position. And then, you know, that should be supplying power there. So I believe this is, that wire is right there. this one. So I'm assuming it is probably a ground, but I'm not 100% on that. But the main power on that one should be the black wire. Comes from the fuse box. There. Black wire comes the fuse box, and it's on the same side as the brown wire it shows here. Yep, and there's my black wire right there, which shows to be going to a ground. Right? That's that little loose black wire. So that is our ground. See the black and brown wire on this side. Oh. No. That shows an orange and brown wire, which it could be. I guess I could trace that back, try to find continuity, and I could add power from there, from the fuse box, and over to here with my power supply, and kind of mimic getting power, and just see if I can't get power all the way back to the compressor with everything hooked up, basically is what I want to do. So I'm going to try that real quick and yeah, give this a whirl. Okay, so you can see this orange wire right back here. It's some kind of a mess, but it goes to this breaker right there, the top post on it. And it is giving me continuity from there to there. So should be able to apply power right there, get power to that, and yeah, should be able to kind of just hook everything up, and it should work. Okay, so I've got power hooked up there, the orange wire, and I do have 13 volts to here. I do have the one that matters is this plug here, and my ground wire. And you see I got 13 volts to the plug that goes to the controller, and that's the one that matters, right? So that'll be next. Is I'm gonna hook this up, I'm gonna turn this on, put it in the on position, and see if I get voltage all the way to there. So that is the next step. All right, so I've got all this hooked up the way it is. So I've got that in the on position. And when I ground out, see I got 13 volts. So I got 13 volts to the wire that plugs into the, I guess, AC control, compressor control switch. So I got power to there. So next step will be to, I guess, plug that up on one of the posts, close that switch, and see that I get power coming out of the other post. So I put it on the top post. I'm not sure that it matters top or bottom. I mean, it is just a switch, so you know, I think it should work either way. I think you see I am doing my Mighty Vac now, closing that switch, and it's fully closed. This is gonna be a little more difficult. I probably will need both hands for this. But you see I'm gonna touch on that bottom terminal there, and then I need find my ground wire. Might be able to show you all the results of this. Got 13 volts. My hands are tied up, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Yeah, sorry I couldn't show you that. This is the bad thing about doing this by yourself, trying to be a YouTuber and mechanic or whatever I am, doing this by yourself. But yeah, so basically touch the bottom post on this switch with my vacuum canister closing the switch, and I got 13 volts there. Bled the vacuum off, voltage goes away, so you know, it's not like a false positive, I guess, is why I did that. So yeah, that switch is working the way it is supposed to. So now I'm gonna take power from there. I'm gonna leave this all hooked up. I'm gonna hook that wire, this wire up, trace it, and I believe it just goes, I think I made, yeah, there's my compressor wire right there. And it goes into this brown wire. And it seems like I checked continuity from there to there before. Yeah, because that's that. There you go, you can see it. That brown wire there, and this is my compressor wire right here. It goes through the dash. So I gotta figure out how this wire connects back to that switch. And I'm pretty sure I checked the continuity from there to there before. Definitely runs back up into here, which, I mean, it could split off and run down that way. Maybe it probably does. So I guess that's what I would do. I'll plug that up, see if I got 13 volts right here next. So that's what I'm about to do. Okay. Hot damn, I got 13 volts to that one too. So hook that back up. Now go check the compressor. That's the next thing. All right. So you can hear the compressor is actually kicking on. So I got power to the compressor. So, and then just to show you, if I bleed this off, open that switch, and it stops working, right? And just to check, I guess, another check of just everything working. Let me bleed this back down. Turn my blinker off. And turn that switch off. I should be able to plug this up and see no clicky the way it's supposed to, but then if I turn this on, it works. So turn that off, it turns off. That's the way it is supposed to do. So that thing is working. All right, so just undoing my ground right here just to check it. And I mean, it looks like it works. So I'm saying the clutch is fixed.